Grab my dick, walk up in banana split. Yes, shirt, yellow, purple, body rockers in the circle. I got to show some love to AM when he's in the place. I say what up, he said, and then I seen her face. She was the cutest thing I ever seen in my life. My life. The way she clicked her heels and put her fist in the sky. Too tight. Drink mode, freak mode, taking a seat is obsolete. Leap, freaking nice booty to the beat. Two-step, bump and grind, fancy footwork all the time. I break dancing in the place, backspin pose. That's when I see her face.
Check this out. 1, 2, 3, is the place to be, as it is plain to see.
What's the cutest thing I ever seen in my life? My life. The way she clicked her heels and put her fist in the sky. Too tight.
Plain to see. Oh yeah.
She's the cutest thing in the world. She's my little hipster
Nobody moving, the record making, and the record taking. It goes a little something like this.